Back with Kaya Beers, you with George Manyosi until 8 o'clock. And so we got 15 good minutes to go through this Thrive app. That's right. Talking about stock management. And joining me in the studio is the CEO of Thrive app, Khetha Mazibuko. Good evening. Welcome, Baba.
Good evening, George. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you here, man. I'm excited about this app. Just give me a background first. Let's talk about Thrive.
Absolutely. So Thrive is an all-in-one solution for taverns and spaza shops in the main market. So we give them a point-of-sale machine that they're able to do two things. One, take card payments from their customers. Two is record what sales they are making so that they have effective stock management. And then the most important thing is that what they do on the point of sale machine, they've got an app where they can connect to their suppliers and make payments for stock so that stock is delivered into the store again. So it's effectively, you've got two solutions that help you sell and restock. Wow. That is what Thrive does.
Okay. So
and then that's doing it digitally. So it's not, it saves our store owners running around, taking money to bank branches to make deposits, connecting with suppliers. You can do everything using one point of sale machine sitting in your store and an app that sits on your phone.
Yeah, that spells effectiveness and efficiency.
Exactly right.
All right. So tell me, and you're saving so much time, man. Geez, so much. Now, break it down for me, because that's two birds, one stone.
Yes.
When you give the app, when you open the app, what do you see? What are you engaging with? I see the objectives.
Yes.
But yes, to make it functional and all that. What is in it?
Yeah, so I think, George, to take it back, our aim is to give business owners capital. And capital is three things. One, it's stock working capital. So it's about giving them stock. How do you make sure that you know how your store has performed? And that's why having a point of sale in the store is so important. Your point of sale is not there just about cart transactions. It's actually there to make sure that you understand what stock is selling and what are your top performing items. Where are you making your margin? How was the weekend? How was the month? Instead of keeping that in a book or keeping that in your head, you've got technology to actually help you understand how your store's performed. So that's the first thing that when in the app you get, and we've got a beautiful report. It's called the end of day report. So at the end of each day, the owner gets this end of day report that says, how has your store performed? So whether you're in the store or you've got other cashiers or you've got family helping in the store, at least you're out there in field. If you've got an event that you're putting on, at least in your store, you know that there's a point of sale machine, there's a cart machine that's working and giving you that intelligence. So that's the first thing, is stock. The second thing is, and this is what we feel very passionate about, is how do we give you data? Because that is the new capital. That's really the key capital.
Right.
So understanding, well, who are my customers? When do they come see me, and how often have they seen me? And so we do give you that ability to understand who your customers are, and understand how frequently they're coming to buy from you.
Yeah.
So that kind of insight is invaluable. And then the third part, which we just launched last week, is in real capital. So how do we actually give you now the credit that you need in order to get stock? We're coming up to the World Cup. It hasn't been that busy right now, but now stores are going to get busy. You need to buy the stock, but you don't have the working capital to just buy it. And so you can, on the app, go on there and say, I want to go place an order with a supplier. Show us the supplier invoice, we pay the invoice on your behalf, and we get the stock delivered. So that stock advance is real capital that we're actually giving to entrepreneurs that they can use to raise their business.
How do you make sure then, because that's a very fascinating one. That third leg, I'm sure, is very, very
critical,
attractive, to a lot of entrepreneurs out there. So, because that's financial assistance right there. Does it necessarily mean then you are a financial service provider?
We're a Standard Bank company. So Thrive is from Standard Bank. And,
beautiful.
And I think what we did was, instead of coming with the traditional approach of you need a card machine for cards and you need account for certain things, it's saying, well, actually, you're in business. You're in the business of moving stock. What do we give you to enable you to move that stock? And and also, more importantly, to create a brilliant customer experience. So we're giving you those tools. And then what's interesting is we're using that data from how your store is performing to then make a decision around the capital that you can get. So it's not about, in the past, you may have had a cell phone account that, wasn't properly managed or something else that may have, but now it starts to tarnish what line of credit you are able to get as a business owner.
Right.
And that is the reality that most of our township businesses face.
So
what we've done is to say, let's look at the business performance. And that's what, having technology in the store allows us to do.
Right. Pardon my ignorance there, because Thrive, I was looking at it independently from Standard Bank. I know Standard Bank is behind it. So this is actually a Standard Bank product.
We're a Standard Bank company. So I think that's part of, our own journey, is that we're a startup.
Right.
So, we started 3 years ago.
Yeah, I want to understand that relationship,
Yes, yeah.
I suppose. So
correct, yeah. So I think that's one of the interesting parts of how this has all come about, is that, I was been in the bank for about 16, 15 years,
Yeah.
And have been servicing a lot of, big retailers and FMCG clients.
Right.
And we saw an opportunity to take what we've learned and package it for small business.
Right.
And that's what we've done. And so we are a startup, that Standard Bank got behind as employees. So it was, we went to our internal innovation board and we said, look, we have an idea to do a startup that's focused on the main economy. And I think what's relevant about Standard Bank is that, Standard Bank is not just standoffish. We don't, we don't engage the main market. Actually, our branches do a lot of payments where store owners go into the branches to make cash payments to suppliers.
Right.
And so by creating a digital solution, we actually are saying, well, maybe we don't have to take this trip to a branch. You don't have to wait until a Monday for a branch to open. You can actually do what you need to do on your phone on a Sunday evening.
Right.
Or on a Saturday evening on a public holiday. So this is around everyone talks the talk of let's rethink banking, let's create, platform businesses. We've done it, and that's what Thrive is.
I think that's a very powerful. Fine, give the innovation credit, but also that whole partnership with Standard Bank. The fact that Standard Bank is like hands-on with you in this business with the app. I mean, that's massive.
It is. I think that it does two things. It's one is that when shoppers see a Thrive machine in the store,
yeah,
they have confidence that they can swipe their cards and spend
immediately,
because it's we're not mafigizolo.
No.
This is something that the technology that we've leveraged is traditional trusted technology. So we've taken that heritage and that tradition and then innovated on it and taken it a step further.
Yeah.
So first of all, you've got the customer trust, and then I think absolutely that the key parties then between the store owner and the supplier, because remember these suppliers are these are big corporate brands.
Yeah.
So we're talking your Heinekens, your Distels, these are the SABs, etc. These are established brands that also want to make sure that they are receiving payments in a way that works. You don't want recon issues and finance issues, and so we've had to innovate around all of these dynamics. So on the one hand, it's around traditional banking in some aspects, but on the other hand, it's a market that is in dire need of digital services. And how do we leapfrog where they are and take them into what they're capable of? And I think that for me is the biggest part of this, is these entrepreneurs are really active, demanding entrepreneurs. What they do is hard work, and they need software that works as hard as they do.
Right, and you'll be amazed how many people are really out there and thriving and doing whatever they can. And yet, when it comes to stock management,
exactly,
it's like shambles.
Yeah,
right.
And I think that's why we wanted to, discuss this topic. It was, as much as we want to talk about what we're doing as Thrive, it's also empowering entrepreneurs that how to better run their businesses, because ultimately the better the business runs, the better the solution is going to run.
Right.
And what we've seen is that the skills around stock management in the township economy is not as prevalent. Where do you get the basics of understanding working capital, how to manage margin, how to set pricing?
Right.
These are challenges that entrepreneurs face because they kind of go into the business, or take over, as we've seen, a family business. And so we want to assist them, and that's why we have a know-how roadshow that we've done. It's a skills lab. We invite entrepreneurs in, and we talk about these topics, and we teach, effective stock management so that you run a solid business.
Right. And how important is stock management really? Let's go to the basics of what retail, particularly retail business, is about.
Absolutely. It's critical. I mean, at the end of the day, your your customer is engaging you because there's a product that they want, right? And so if you don't have it available,
then you're selling an empty warehouse.
Then you're selling an empty warehouse.
It's a problem.
So for me, stock is the underpin to your customer experience, which is the underpin to your sales. So if you don't have stock, you don't have experience, you don't have sales.
Why do you call me in?
Exactly.
Right.
So it is important that you are aware of what stock you need. And I think the biggest thing that we've seen is that a lot of entrepreneurs don't have a systematic way or structured way of counting that stock on a daily basis so that they restock on a daily basis.
Interesting.
And that's what you need to do. You can't just do it, every now and then when you're busy, your downtime. It's a everyday thing.
Daily, yes.
It's a daily thing because that's why your customer's coming to you.
Yeah.
So if you're not managing your and I think, maybe George, to kind of put it in human terms, is that people kind of focus on profits. So there's also complaints of like, geez, I didn't do well this weekend.
Overall, and then you wonder.
Yeah, don't worry. Your profits will come. First, look at your shelf. Do you have the right types of products? And I think the biggest lessons that we're trying to teach is everyone knows kind of core products that you need, especially in a spaza shop or a tavern.
Right.
But what product works with another product? Because if you can now start to cross-sell. So a classic one is someone coming in to buy airtime. Typically buys airtime, walks out.
That's it.
No, that's a missed opportunity. How do you cross-sell other stock items? So as you say, you want airtime, I've got bus tickets. Do you want to buy a bus ticket? Or do you want to pay for your DSTV subscription whilst you're here? Because, that's stock management, because then you're giving that experience, you're making better margin, and you're in business.
Fascinating. Because really what you're talking there is like sales.
But it starts with having the stock.
And yet it's under stock.
You have to have that stock first, right?
Yeah.
So you've got to understand what is that stock.
That's
how we ask, promote, and that's how we put that module. So if you look at our card machine, it's not a card machine because we've got this software that says like, what's your stock?
Yeah.
And so we're preaching this gospel of record your stock.
Yeah.
Do a stock check. Make sure that you've recorded everything you have constantly, because if you don't, you can't make those sales.
You're not in touch.
You can't say, well, I offer this and I offer that when it's
and you
not
don't
there.
know. Yeah.
Exactly. And so we've seen entrepreneurs get really innovative now, where if they're selling, say, a Coke, for example, sell it with Istek because they go together.
Right.
So it's having these things and understanding what is demanded by my customers, and then making sure that you've got that stock available and you're constantly replenishing.
Yeah.
And that's quite key, to make sure that you replenish your stock levels all the time.
Now, I see the most typical, stock management mistakes that businesses make. And what other practical things can businesses do to really improve on their stock management practices?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. I think one of the most important, I would say, is first of all, as the store owner, be there regularly. It sounds simple, but I think the challenge is you are running around to source that stock in the first place.
Yeah.
You've actually got to make sure that you are in your storeroom regularly to make sure that you know how stock sells. Second thing, practical, is set clear stock targets.
Right.
It is important that before the evening begins or the day begins, that in order for you to pay for cashier, electricity, your liquor license, you may need that day 3,000 Rand. Let's say, as an example.
Yes.
Which means if you're making, say, 5% margin on a case of 200, you need to sell 500 cases.
Right.
So set that target and make sure you work towards it. That's a practical thing that you can do as a business owner.
Fascinating. So tell me, once again, this is so interesting because it's really practical.
Exactly.
And it's what you're highlighting here are challenges that are on the ground faced by a lot of entrepreneurs. And the question that's going to keep on coming is, how do we access this guy? How do we access? I can see the app. How do you access? Are you training? Are you?
Yeah, we are. So the app is live in the Google Play Store, so you can download the app from the Google Play Store.
Beautiful.
Thrive.
Yeah.
And then also from our website, you can also download and get information. So thrive.trade.
Yeah.
So www.thrive.trade, you can get a hold of us. Also on Instagram, Facebook, etc. You can get a hold of us on thrive.trade.
And obviously you come out as well to the store.
Yeah, we'll be back next week. Back next week to talk more about some of these business challenges.
Love it.
Absolutely.
Beautiful, man. Thank you very much for coming to the
George,
studio.
thank you so much.
All right, Khetha, there you are. Khetha Mazibuko, who's CEO Thrive app. It's there. It's available. Use it.
This Thrive know-how feature is powered by Standard Bank. Thrive, your all-in-one app to power your sales.
To find out more, follow thrive.trade on Instagram and stay in the mix. Remember, if you're a business owner operating in the main market, you can get yourself the Thrive app, powered by Standard Bank. And this allows you to pay your suppliers, get paid, and do much more with the help of the app and Thrive in the mix. Do business on the move with Thrive. Find out more at thrive.trade or Thrive on Instagram. That's it.
Kaya Talk on Kaya 959. On the street, on the air.